Am I the butthole for telling my dad his decision to move on fast is the reason we feel the way we do? Hi guys. Me, 15 female, and my brother, 17, lost our mom 8 years ago. Our dad remarried 6 months after her death. We both found it really hard to come to terms with, and I'll admit we have been very cold and sometimes mean because of it. Our dad just moved on and he expected us to move on after 6 months. It's been a pretty crafty few years for us. And earlier this year our dad decided we all needed family therapy, and so we ended up there. And my brother doesn't want to talk. He sits and says nothing the whole time, but the therapist a few weeks ago, back in early October, asked me if I was willing to talk, and so I did. I said my brother and I were angry our dad remarried after 6 months. That he and his wife thought 6 months was enough for us to come to terms with our mom's loss and be ready for someone new living with us and trying to parent us. I said the fact they never saw anything wrong with it made us dislike them both, and that the reason neither of us bonded with the new members of our family was we were still really angry and hurt about it, and no matter how long has since passed, it doesn't erase what happened. I also said it was insulting to us that they thought she would be our new mom and that we would love her the same, especially after the way they made everything happen when they moved so fast. My dad asked if I loved my stepmom now, and I said no. My brother didn't answer the question. He then asked why we were still holding on to it after so long. I told him because he might have needed to move fast for him, but he did so at our expense, and that was not something we could just forget about or get over like it didn't matter. Things have been tense since. My brother is grounded for not opening up, and I was grounded for being rude. The therapist knows all this and has asked if we wanted to do individual sessions, but our dad's wife said no. Then my dad said we're doing it as a family so we can be a family. AITA? Just adding some notes here because some things were asked multiple times. My mom's death was sudden, car accident. I am pretty sure there was no affair, but I can't say for sure. We believe they met at work after my mom died. My dad went back a week after she died, and a couple of days after that he mentioned a new coworker. We found them in bed together a month after my mom died. We think it was a ONS. That then became more because a month later she was introduced to us as his girlfriend and she was unemployed, and he mentioned just before that the new coworker left. NTA, this is made especially clear by the fact that you got grounded for what you said in therapy. Yeah, why the F would the brother ever open up if he knows he can get in trouble for expressing himself? This is extremely damaging. Worst Dad of the Year award for real. Well, the other brother didn't open up and still got grounded. So the only option is to lie, I guess. What a terrible father. NTA. Tell the therapist what I want to hear or you're grounded is how all healthy families operate, right? And Dad's wife refused their individual therapy, which they would need, and Dad agreed. Not the butthole, no wonder the brother didn't want to talk. He is counting the days until he can move out probably. They don't want the kids telling lies, i.e. anything that makes the adults look bad, unless they can punish them for it. Another parent, and their spouse, trying to use therapy as an abuse tactic. This isn't about the kids, it's about the new mom. How to get her made part of the family. That's why they wanted to be the whole family and grounding the son for being quiet. If it was therapy for the family, then they'd be able to have it without the parents there. Why can't they have individual and family therapy then? It's clear that the kids are still struggling with this situation and have their own needs that need to be dealt with in addition to trying to work out the family thing, though in my opinion family therapy in this case seems pointless because the dad and stepmom are actively discouraging them from being open and honest, which defeats the whole purpose, NTA whatsoever, op. Because it's not about what the kids need, never was. Exactly. Dad was hoping to use therapy as a weapon. The therapist was supposed to pretend to listen to the kids, then browbeat them into playing happy family. But therapists worth their salt don't do that. Thank goodness. Because new mom and dad can't control and punish what their kids say in individual therapy. I'm surprised the therapist didn't rip the dad a new one for grounding the kids for opening up, then drop the dad as a client. Edited to drop the last part, as several people have made an excellent point, dropping dad would hurt the kids. If I were a therapist, I couldn't in good conscience drop him as a client over that, because by dropping him as a client, I drop the kids too when they need the help. I would definitely rip him a new one though, if in that soft quiet way that some people can manage. This was similar to how my parents acted. Act normal or the state will make you go to therapy and put you on drugs we can't afford just so they can take you away. My mother literally said that to me so often I will never forget the exact words. Original post and her brother need to bide their time and save resources until they can get out. My mom threatened me with that too. Exactly this. When my parents split, my dad was this way about therapy. He would bankroll it. But only if he could pick the therapist. I assume he found a therapist that either accepted his narcissistic lies or it was one who had no issue relaying what they might learn from our sessions. F them. 100%, bro is out the door as soon after turning 18 as he can. With little to no contact with dad and stepmom. Yeah. Can't wait for 5 years from now when dad has no idea why neither of his kids speak to him. That's how my biological dad thought, also in the mindset of all children should worship their fathers as if they were gods. Moped out of that as soon as I could. Therapist is also the butthole here if they know you got grounded for expressing yourself in a supposedly safe space. That is not cool. Edit. Original post says therapist knows about the grounding. I think the therapist should make original post and sibling feel safe to express their thoughts and has an obligation to show the father how his behavior is harmful, both the grounding and the original transgressions. Therapy has no value if patients don't feel safe to say what they're feeling. That said, I'm a physician, not a therapist. No, the therapist is probably trying not to piss off the dad to the point that he yanks them out of therapy. Because then the kids have no one to advocate for them. It looks like the therapist knows, and suggested individual therapy in response, and stepmom said no. That's how I read it. Not necessarily, the therapist cannot control the father, unless they think what he did is okay. Their goal is probably to make him understand his kids. Hopefully in next session they would tell the father that that's super wrong, but what can the therapist do, for real? Other than try to express how F that is, the therapist is kind of stuck with trying to help in an environment that they now know is not conducive to helping. It's a sad situation. Therapist is definitely NTA. What the hell could they have done to stop the father from grounding original post and his bro? NTA. Your father was and is very selfish. He may have been ready to move on after 6 months, less, given that he presumably dated this woman before marrying her, but he had no possible right to demand that you and your brother process your grief at his convenience. Now he's punishing you because you're not playing into his happy family fantasy. It wouldn't be surprising if he is one of those who piously tells himself that he remarried for the kids, not for self-gratification, and resents that you and your brother aren't playing along. Your stepmother is a fool if she thinks that love can be commanded, and nothing in your post suggests that she is worthy of your love. Given that the kids were 9 and 7 when she died, I'm wondering if he just needed a replacement female in the house to look after them. How the hell do you become fond of, date, propose and marry someone in just 6 months anyway? That's insane. What's the chances he had this woman in his life and affections while his wife was dying? Same question. This isn't 1875 when your wife died giving birth to baby number 6 and you need a mom for the ones at home. Therefore marry someone you don't really know but who wants to get married and be a mother to your children. I know a lot of people cannot be alone, hi mom, but expecting the children to move on quickly is just ridiculous. I would also guess that she was in his life before the death, not necessarily dating/an affair, but at least someone he or they knew. Back then you would normally marry your dead wife's unmarried sister if there were any sisters left. Maybe a cousin or aunt. At the desperate end the pastor's wife would find you an unmarried older spinster or widow from the parish. Generally you would be at least familiar and it was simply an extension of the current family. Accepting the insanity that nobility and those marrying for money or position could get up to, which often was not to the benefit of the actual family members. Edit. I think in this case the dad wanted a bang maid that would babysit for room and board indefinitely, so he married his side piece. Then his kids called him out on his fake happy family. Vile man. That's what my mom's grandfather did. Make the family tree look real interesting when you're trying to do a class project. Yeah, I've got at least 3 generations where it happened. Got confusing with my great-great-grandmother Annie Matilda. Annie was her older sister who died after 4 children. When Matilda married into the family they just tacked her name onto Annie and she became Annie Matilda. I'm honestly still not sure which one is actually mine, lol. What's the chances he had this woman in his life and affections while his wife was dying? Not insignificant. I'd wager money I can't afford to lose on it. I know that widowers with children tend to remarry relatively quickly, but 6 months is baffling to me. 6 months to cover meeting somebody, deciding to ask them out on a date and that you're ready for that step, getting to know them well enough to think that bringing them into the family might be workable, getting engaged, arranging the wedding, getting married, while grieving and caring for 2 young, bereaved children. While caring for 2 young, bereaved children. This is the part he didn't want to do and hasn't. Let's be honest. He was so busy dating and proposing that he was not caring for his 2 young bereaved children. The school had them during the day and whoever babysat them at night while dad was busy with the GF. They lost their mother and were essentially abandoned by their father all at the same time. And that was before the marriage. Very high based off his narcissistic ways. He definitely didn't do much with the kids day to day. Yeah, I'm betting these 2 had been seeing each other for a while. NTA. Grounding both of you for opening up during therapy is literally the worst thing you can do while still trying to actively encourage family therapy sessions. You both are absolutely valid in your feelings and should be allowed individual sessions throughout this process as well. Your dad's wife should have no say in your mental health/treatment, and that's a real shame she feels so entitled to it. I hope things get easier, up. She sees herself as deserving of being an equal parent. She felt that way from the wedding. Because she married our dad and willingly decided she was going to be a mom to us, she feels she has earned more than we give her and that at the very least she deserves to be an equal parent if not our actual mom. While we feel like they lost the right to demand anything like that when we had 6 months to grieve our mom before our whole world changed again and we had to get used to having a new person trying to be that. Then they had kids and that was another adjustment and almost more hard than simply a remarriage because it changed so much for us. As a stepmother, this absolutely boils my blood. I'm typing angry, so please forgive any mistakes here. Next therapy session, I recommend you take control of it. Start the session by telling them all I don't feel I can express how I feel here is last time I was honest my brother and I were punished for it. Then ask the therapist how effective therapy is when the people in it are punished for talking about their feelings. I'd also turn it round to your dad and ask him what exactly the aim of the therapy is. Open and honest communication? He needs to stop punishing you for opening up then. Why are you doing it as a family? Specifically? Does he accept that he and his wife have handled things inappropriately too, or is he just there to monitor what you're saying to your therapist? I'm sorry I'm so angry about this for you. I'm a stepmother and would never dream of behaving like this. They both should have given you space to grieve. I expect that even if they had decided to get married after 6 months, if they dealt with this better, you'd feel a lot better about it now. In case there's any doubt, NTA. That his dad thinks he is paying the therapist to brainwash his kids into playing happy family with his new wife. So disgusting. This genuinely pissed me off in real life, Lamau. Yay, I'm ready to go give the dad and stepmom a real dressing down, to be honest. And a good family therapist will know this and navigate around it. Family therapy is a minefield, but my biggest pet peeve is when parents tell me to focus on their kids and refuse to take ownership of their part of the issue. Thank you for this. It's really helpful. I honestly don't think you should be doing therapy with your dad and stepmom. If you somehow manage to see your therapist in private without your dad, is it possible to ask your therapist if you can just do it with your brother, which might make him open up more? I don't know though, I've never been through therapy, but I don't see why it isn't possible if you mention that you can't express your feelings or you get grounded. Good luck, Op. I hope everything works out. I can't sign up for therapy without adult consent. They would have to pay for it, and since it's not covered by insurance, I know they won't. Good luck, I really hope it helps. Have you tried talking to your stepmom away from your dad? What's she like? No, I don't really want to talk to her. Fair enough. I wish I could give you a hug. Thank you. Even bio parents don't deserve anything from their kids, mom of 2 here. You make the decision to become a parent, the child has no agency, didn't ask to be here or choose you as a parent. You earn a good relationship with your children, you are not owed it. Children are people, and caregivers have the massive responsibility of shaping their childhood. Be supportive, be loving, check your ego, strive to always be learning and growing, and get to know who your kids are, and help them be the best versions of themselves. Your situation is so sad and infuriating. I hope this thread has been validating. It really has. I've been feeling so stressed and things suck so badly. I really wanted to get therapy on my own too, and now I have to wait 3 more years. That makes complete sense. You are in an awful, awful situation. It makes me feel sick to think of my own daughter being in your situation at your age. She's only 7 now, and I so wish your dad, or stepmom, were capable of loving you unselfishly and seeing your pain instead of their own. I'm angry they don't feel protective of your emotional well-being the way a parent should. You deserve better. Hang on to that thought, because it's true, and what they are saying is self-serving and dishonest. Needing to do it as a family is just code for wanting to be in control. Invoking family ties is a sign someone is trying to manipulate you, in my experience, because you're setting a boundary. Being a teenager is effing difficult. This is the hardest time in your life because you have the least control. Your hormones are changing constantly and you're trying to navigate all that in a social media-driven nightmare previous generations can't fathom. If it's possible, and I know it's so hard with what you're being put through, try and be a little unit with your brother so you can support each other. Show him this thread if it might help you bond. You both need a safe space in your home. You will be free of this in a few years, but that is stone-cold comfort, I know. You will be able to walk away and get therapy, and I'm just so sorry your mother isn't here to take pride in how you're standing up for yourself, because I'm sure she would. You're mothering yourself, which you shouldn't have to, but well. Epping. Done. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.